rail passengers will see more police officers on trains and at stations as a result of the stabbings on a London-bound train yesterday evening. Today, there was disruption to services on LNER, Great Northern and Thameslink trains, while police investigations continue. Here's Aisha Baksh.
Well, here at King's Cross Station in central London, there were delays and cancellations this morning, but looking at the departures board, it appears the situation has improved. Earlier we spoke to passengers about what happened.
I woke up this morning and I saw the news and it really, it worried me a bit when I saw all that, and I had a chat thinking, God, what's happening? Going up there and checking it all out, it does put you off. If you start thinking about it.
Do you usually feel quite safe on the trains?
Usually, yeah. I've never had a problem until you hear something like this and you think it can happen, can't it? Yeah.
I usually do feel safe. So hearing about that sort of just made it feel like I have to be cautious on the train where you thought you could be safe.
It's very scary. I use public transport all the time. I travel on the trains, and just hearing about it doesn't really make me want to travel anymore. It's a bit scary because you never know what's going to happen.
Really shocking, yeah. I mean, we came down on Friday. It could have been us, been the wrong day.
It's really upsetting, isn't it? And you realise actually when you sort of visualise it yourself, how when you're sitting on a train, you've got nowhere to run to, have you? You've got nowhere to hide, and you would be very vulnerable.
Well, the train operator LNER say that if you were unable to travel yesterday or today, your ticket will still be valid for the rest of this week, although you may have to make a reservation to get a seat on the train you want. As for the incident in Huntingdon, well, police say they are still investigating and 2 people have been arrested.
Aisha Baksh there. A campaign to change the law to make carrying catapults illegal has been backed by the Surrey Police and Crime Commissioner. It follows a rise in attacks on animals and people. A petition has gained more than 25,000 signatures calling for a licensing scheme so carrying a catapult without a permit becomes an offence. Metropolitan line services between Baker Street and Aldgate will remain suspended for a week. There's a problem with the line at Baker Street. Passengers are advised to allow extra time for their journeys. It should be fixed by this time next week. Between the 1950s and 1970s, thousands of women were separated from their babies through forced adoptions. Most were young and unmarried. And there's a call for the government to make an official apology over its role in the scandal. One mother was Anne. She was sent to Stamford Hill before being separated from her child. She spoke to Johnny Harvey.
In 1969, Anne was sent to a mother and baby home in North London run by nuns. She was made to repent for what she was told was her sin, falling pregnant outside of marriage.
They told us we'd brought shame on our families, which was why we were there. We were made to feel that, well, we were sinners.
Desperate to keep her son, who had been placed in foster care soon after he was born, Anne worked 2 jobs to save enough money to find the 2 of them a home, and yet he was placed for adoption against her wishes.
It's an overwhelming love. There's nothing you can do about it. It's there. And I knew I wanted to keep him.
She wouldn't meet him again until last year. Estimates suggest that around 200,000 women between the 1950s and 1970s were affected by forced adoptions in institutions run by the church or state. In 2022, a committee of MPs concluded that the state bore ultimate responsibility for this suffering. Karen Constantine has charted the experiences of many mothers who were affected.
Women and adult adoptees are suffering because that apology hasn't happened. Because what it will do, it will take the kind of stigma of shame, if you like, off the shoulders of people. But it's important for all of these historic injustices that the government of the day act, that the government of the day take responsibility.
The government told us that this abhorrent practice should never have taken place, and that their deepest sympathies are with all those affected. They continue to engage with those affected to provide support, with the Secretary of State meeting survivors earlier this month to hear about their experiences. Anne and survivors like her say they will continue to fight for an official apology.
Sir Sadiq Khan has described the mass stabbing on board a London North Eastern Railway train as deeply concerning after 9 people were injured. The number of police officers at major stations across England, including London, has increased since the attack yesterday evening. The train, which was bound for King's Cross, caused a series of cancellations and delays across the network. A French restaurant in North London has decided to stop serving customers after more than 50 years. Cage Imaginaire in Hampstead Village featured in the most recent Bridget Jones film. But it says despite its popularity, trading conditions are too challenging. Graham Stothard reports.
Flask Walk is one of Hampstead's most visited picturesque streets. Walk past the antiques, florists and bakeries and you'll find French restaurant Cage Imaginaire, an institution that's been here since 1969. But it will close at the end of this month. The owner says a mixture of Brexit, COVID and inflation has made it too expensive to run.
I don't really want to close. It's not really a decision that I took myself. It's the cost. The cost is so high that even if I'm having a full restaurant every single day, you cannot make money.
Antonia has run it now for nearly 20 years. At one point meeting actress Renée Zellweger, when the restaurant's kitchen interior saw it used as a location for filming in the latest Bridget Jones.
I'm just coming up to a restaurant where Rockster and Bridget went for dinner on one of their dates.
Attracting a new legion of fans eager to try the food. Its closure is a loss for the whole street, according to fellow shopkeeper Keith Fawkes, who's been selling antiques here for 63 years.
She was wonderful to us during COVID because she used to bring us down meals when all other restaurants were closed, and she used to bring them. We used to sit outside and eat her delicious food.
Madam, I see you tomorrow morning.
She's still taking bookings, but at the end of the month will serve her last meal. She's returning to her native Italy, saying goodbye to the home she made in Hampstead. Graham Stothard, ITV News.
From today, the Royal Park Police will no longer exist after more than 150 years. The Met is scrapping the specialist unit to help fill a £260 million funding gap. Instead, regular officers will patrol the 5,000 acres of green spaces, including Hyde Park, Regent's Park and Richmond Park. Councillors in Richmond say parks as big as the royal ones should have their own force.
Bushy Park and Richmond Park combined are roughly the same size as the entirety of the London Borough of Islington. To think that something of that size should not have its own dedicated police force is just bizarre.
2 North London Underground stations are celebrating being open for a century on the Metropolitan line. Croxley and Watford stations opened in 1925, with trains to Baker Street and Marylebone. To celebrate 100 years, visitors were able to get a behind-the-scenes tour of the history and heritage of the stations.